I believe this tool is the best tool for researching Solana NFTs. I'm talking about Nansen. Now, I'm a huge advocate of Nansen, and they've recently just had an update to actually incorporate Solana NFTs within their system. And I think Nansen is the kind of blue chip tool when it comes down to tools within the NFT space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down what it is, how it works, how it all comes together. I've also got a link for Nansen down below. It is an affiliate link, but I've been kind of using Nansen from the beginning, so I'm a big fan and advocate. If you do sign up, there is free access, but if you do sign up and use anything paid, there is a kickback, so please keep that in mind. Now, when you first log into Nansen, you'll kind of hit with this page here. Now, what you want to do is you want to go to the left, scroll down, and hit Solana. Now, when you are in Solana, you can then on the left go to NFT Paradise. Now, what this does is it'll bring you over to an NFT dashboard for Solana specific NFTs, and then you can kind of go from there. So now when you're over here, I like to collapse the sidebar just so you've got a little bit more room to play with. Now, when you first get in here, you'll hit with a dashboard of volume, market cap, price, things like that. Hey, real quick, half of you aren't subscribed to the channel, so scroll down there, hit up that subscribe button. Won't cost you anything, won't even cost you gas. Anyway, let's kick on with the video. So you can see here, you've got DGen smashing it with 15K worth of Sol volume. Then you've got Kiddos, Nameless Boys, Primates. So Primates are still kind of running. D-Gods smashing it. OK Bez still hitting it with around 1100 worth of Sol volume over a 24-hour period. Now, it also gives you the market cap, and then you can also sort via these as well, so you can get an idea of what the market caps are, what some of the top volumes are, what some of the prices are. So it's a good little thing to kind of swap through. And then as you can see here, you've also got the wallet, so you can go through and see how many wallets there are in different projects, but this will also give you an idea of some of the new aspects. Now, something that I think is very fun to kind of get into when you especially doing some of your research is you can head over to Mintmaster. Now, Mintmaster is a tool which will let you kind of show what is minting currently, when it gets hot and when it gets hype. So when you are in Mintmaster, you can see here that currently Weirdo is sort of the FOMO level is low, and these go between none, low, medium, and high. And when it's high and extreme, you can then kind of see what's kind of popping off right now, and that's a mint that you should really jump on very fast. And it's kind of a good way to kind of see what's happening. You can get alerts set up with different tiers within Nansen. So this can also kind of show you what's happening when it comes down to minters. Now, one variation is on Ethereum. They do have the smart minters, and Nansen are always updating features. So keeping an eye on like something like the latest, so the latest mints and the Mintmaster feed will kind of improve over time, but it lets you know what's kind of happening currently. And as you can see, it's just kind of popped off because the sort of hype's essentially dropped off, but it tells you how many minters, how much volume, and what's kind of actually at play. Now, this seems very basic, and there are free tools out there that kind of utilize this stuff at the moment, but where the power comes into Nansen is kind of some of the deeper dives when it comes to the space. So what you can actually see is we can see the top collections over the past week, and you can see what they are and where they currently are. So you can see DGen's currently just leading the charts at the moment, but then you can also come down and see the profit leaderboard, see who has taken the most amount of profit overall. What they're doing is they're scraping all of the data on these Sol accounts, NFT, people that are trading, buying, flipping NFTs. So this then gives you an idea of the people that are actually making some big plays. So you can see the top profit taker, 5,000 Sol, then you've got 2,300, and then it kind of runs down here. So now you can kind of see what some of these top profit takers are. So this account here, what's great is that you can kind of see that they've made a profit of almost 3,000% with their trades and their flips. So then when you kind of hit with the wallet profile, which essentially dives deep into their wallet history and what they've done and what their trades are, you can then see what these people have done. So their current NFT portfolio is they're holding Botborg, Irrelevant, and AI Wepping. But when you have a look at the realized gains, you can see that they absolutely smashed it on Shadowy Super Coda. That is where they've made a lot of their gains from. So you can see that they sort of bought sort of 30 of them. They spent 75 Sol, and they've made 2,808 sort of SOL worth of profit, and you can see here what they've actually kind of done, received, sold. So this is what they've actually done. So that's why this particular person has actually made a really big kind of gain and flip of one particular project. Now you could kind of read into that how you want to read into that if you'd want to follow someone that is doing one of those trades. Then when we actually take into the top account, what we can do is we have a look at the wallet, what they're actually holding on to and what they're actually playing with. Now you can see what some of their recent buys and sells have been when it comes down to the sort of ecosystem. You can see they've sold something for 228 SOL. And you can see here that this portfolio looks a little bit more balanced. What I like to do is I look to go at the estimated volume. So you kind of run through here. So you can see DGen Coin Flip, that's the their larger bag, Cyber Samurai, and then you can see some of the other projects that they're holding onto here. And then looking at their realized gains, same kind of deal. Shadowy Supercoder is an absolute rip for them. And then you've got they've actually realized some gains with DGen Coin Flip as well. So as you can see, there is some cool, interesting things when it comes down to just the overarching details and depth that you can get in with Nansen. Now, where it gets really exciting is when you actually jump into a project. So let's jump into OK Bears. And what you can actually do is you can go in and check out this project itself, see the holders, see where some flaws have been, see where the trends are, and actually make some good decisions based on this. So what you can see here is that when you go into OK Bears itself, you can see the supply of 10,000. Let's just get it up here. So you can see the supply of 10,000. You can see that in the last 24 hours, it's done 1,100 SOL worth of volume. Now, what we do here is we can have a look at the price and the volume and see what's happening over the last 90-day period. And you've got the sort of time parameters here that you can kind of look at, which I think is nice. So what you can see here is you can see the initial run up and the crazy kind of blow off that you've had within OK Bears as it had this run up. And then as so this was the Solana summer narrative, and then you've seen it kind of taper off and down and then hit a floor. Now what you can notice here is that you can see that at around this 100 SOL mark, you can see that it's bounced off it, and then it's kind of bounced off it again. So if you were looking at moving into something like OK Bears, you can look at some statistics like you would see in here and kind of go, okay, it looks like a base is at around that 100 SOL mark, which then means that you can then start to do your research, do your due diligence. When people say do your own research, you can actually jump in and have a look and see if this actually looks like it could have a bottom. And as you'll notice is that when some volume came into the market, now volume are these bars, when volume has come in, the price has gone up. Volume comes in, price has gone up. Volume comes in, price goes up. So now you can see that with the amount of, so that little run up here, that little peak here, now what you can kind of see is that if we do have any volume that comes into OK Bears, you will most likely see a run up. So the idea about using a tool like Nansen will give you a chance to actually have a look at some charts, look at some details, look at some data and see how it goes. But it just doesn't stop there. Now you will kind of see some interesting charts and details like this on some other free sites that you could actually kind of use and utilize. I do like Nansen because it is all in one space, and you can kind of see here where the floor price is, where some of these purchases are, and what you can see is there is a large chunk of people that are biting stuff above the floor. The floor is denominated by this white bar here. So the fact is there are people that are picking up sort of traits and kind of bears that they particularly like, which is nice to see in a project, so you could see if you want to move into it. If you were looking at a tool like this, you could then see what was happening and see if it was all close to the floor, so you know if you could just get some floor items. Having a look at the rest of this, buyers and transactions, this usually works when you are closer to the sort of mint date, so you can see where the buys and transactions come in, but you've got very interesting tools and techniques, and then you've also got the fact it was deployed just over 2 months ago. What we're actually going to do now is we'll actually jump over and check out another project and just have a look at the next tabs that you can actually kind of check on now. So I was actually in primates for a while. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over on primates and check out some of these other tabs, just so I'm not kind of touching on something like OK Bears over and over. So you've got the same kind of deal where you've got all this interesting data that you want to run off. Now you've got the breakdown tab, and what this does is it tells you about the volume of holders. So what this means is, as you can kind of see and read here, you've got balances and changes. So what it'll tell you is it'll tell you what people have actually done within the space. So you can see over the last sort of so 7 days, someone's exited 7, someone's exited 5, exiting 3 here, but then you are seeing people gaining in. This is a good idea and indicator if someone is, or if a project is kind of losing some hype because people are essentially moving out. Top balances, this is a very good chart and indicator to kind of show you who some of the whales are when it comes to the project. So you can see the top holder 140, then you've got 95, and then we go all the way down and the top sort of 15 caps out at 31. So it gives you an idea of the spread of the holders. Now something like this within Nancy, you can also have a look and see how many what they've actually kind of done. So you can see over the last 7 days, the top holders actually added on 20. You can see some of these top holders are continuously adding to their portfolio. So what this shows you is it shows you that the bullish people within the space are adding more and more to their holdings. So this gives you an idea of what's actually happening within the individual project. So it means you can research projects that are out, that are established, and you can actually make good, better decisions over the space. Another cool chart that you can kind of get with Nansen is the balances over time. So the top balance has been kind of going off. So they've had primates, they have had 135, and they've just been sort of getting off, and now they're kind of cooling off at around 95, but everyone else is just adding more and more to the project. So you can see that over time, the top balances are just accumulating more within to the project. And then also, if this is the kind of interesting stuff that you like to see, you can see all the different breakdowns about where people are actually kind of buying. You can see that Magic Eden is the top, but there's no surprise there. So that gives you an idea of what happens within the breakdown tab. Now, another tab that is fun is the holders tab. Now, with the holders tab here, it'll give you an idea and an indication of what people are actually doing within the space. Now the seniority distribution, this will show you how people have actually held the project. So you can see here that essentially 90% of people have held between 7 and 30 days. So this shows you that there are a lot of people that have kind of bought in and holding. They want to hold longer term. When you start to see a lot of people within this kind of lower than 7 day range, but this is also contingent on what's actually happening within the market. If it's just dropped within 7 days, they can't hold more than 7 days. But you can kind of start to get an idea if a project does look like it's a longer term hold. With the unique addresses, it'll tell you how many unique addresses there are over the different days, so you can kind of see if we are getting more of a fairer distribution of the project or if whales are accumulating. Same thing with percentage holding one NFT, how many people are holding one NFT. So you've got great data and details of the projects, of the individual segmentations, which is very cool and very interesting. Balance of diamond hands, this basically tells you the amount of people that haven't sold, that have just kind of bought and hold. And you can see almost half, or over half of them, so 54%, have just never sort of sold, and they're just holding onto the project. They're not flippers. And then just like you had the profit leaderboard on the entirety of Solana itself, you've got the profit leaderboard within the Solana ecosystem itself. And you can see here the top profit taker, sort of 341, and then the top 15 caps out at 120. And what is interesting is you can also see the types of holders that there are. So you can see that this top profit taker, when it goes bought 12, sold 7, so they're still in the game. Apart from this person here, bought 17, sold 17, a lot of these holders have kind of bought, but sold less than they have bought. So it shows you that they're still in the game slightly in a sense. So this can give you an idea of, with the profit leaderboard, the top profit takers, what they've made, but what their mentality is when it comes to the project. Now, what I want to touch on here is the trades tab. This trades tab right here, what it will do is it will tell you what trades are kind of happening right now. Now, you can easily see this on something like Magic Eden or other platforms, but like this is, Nansen just likes to give you the data all in one dashboard for you to easily kind of look through and dive through. So it shows you what the recent trades are on the project, and you can see here it's sort of still flying, still doing good, and what the price is and the platform. No surprise here, it's all Magic Eden. And then the last tab that you can actually have a look at is the related collections tab. Now what this does is it shows you what some of the other related collections to this collection are and what some of the holders and crossovers are. So this shows you that when it comes to primates, you've got Art of Mob, Dust Ape, yeah, Tigers. This is where the biggest kind of supply, well, there is Sphinx as well, but this shows you where some of the holders and the concentration of these holders are. Now, the reason that you'd like to kind of see this is this will show you where the crossovers are. So you can see that if a particular project had, like, this is essentially the thing in ETH where people want to be in a project where a lot of Bored Ape holders are. You can kind of see where a lot of some of the blue chip projects are, which means that if you look at something like DGods, you can then see what DGod holders are holding, so you can then kind of front run the market and kind of see what you could be moving into, which could be a potential blue chip later on down the line. Then you've also got the transactions by the owners and see what they're doing within the space. Not much you can actually use on this for a day-to-day kind of purchase, but these are the types of data and things that you can look at overall. And you can see here what the people that are actually holding sort of primates are actually buying, and they're buying DGen, and then some of the other projects here and their latest mints. So I keep coming back to the power of the data and what Nansen actually has, and how you can interpret this in different ways, and the ways that you can actually use this to kind of research the projects that you want to move into and actually kind of make informed decisions, because all of this data is at your fingertips and they keep adding it, they keep tweaking it, they keep changing it. And especially on a blockchain like Solana, this is just very powerful information to have, and they keep adding to it. This can mean that you move into bigger and better trades and actually are safer and more conservative with your plays to actually ensure that you kind of retain some of the funds that you have. So that is a breakdown of what I believe is the best tool in the NFT space for Solana NFTs. Now, hopefully you found value in this video. If you did, please consider hitting up that subscribe button while you're down there. Also hit up the like button. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.